Over the course of the last 3.5 months, we have been removing the shutters from the chateau and taking them over to a sanding station that we set up and then sanding them. There are 88 of them, and I believe Beau is in the mid-20s of how many he's sanded. But as we continue this process, we also need to begin painting.
So today we start sweeping the orangery a little bit because we want to prepare this so that we can paint in here and just to reduce all the dust particles. Everything is pretty dirty, but the idea is that after the shutters get sanded, we take them over here and then we have a place that's dry where we can paint.
So we're putting plastic down so that we can make a space to paint the shutters without getting anything on our tile floor here. Today I am making the keychains for the rooms, and I'm looking at my Adobe fonts for inspiration, and then working with acrylic paint pens and wooden keychains to put the names of our queens on the keychains and to decorate them a little bit. At the moment I'm working on Catherine the Great's monogram, and it looks a little like that. So just gonna try to get her resemblance of her monogram here with a little crown on top. And her colors were mostly golds and subdued blues and red. So here is the Cleopatra keychain. And on the back we have this is an interpretation of Cleopatra's signature on the only existing document that has her signature on it. And it's a Greek word, and it sort of sounds like genishtoi. And what it means is make it so. And it was signed to this, the only existing document where basically Cleopatra was signing into law this order for a Roman resident to not be taxed on wheat and wine. And so she signed at the very bottom of the document genishtoi, or make it so. And that's what we have left today of Cleopatra. Tried to put just a little hint of information about each queen on the back of each keychain.
And so while we have this table ready, we want another one because the idea is to paint shutters once they are sanded. And this is basically the first table, a station, and there's room for another one over here. This one is gonna go away, and another table is in production right now. So I've taken things that I could find and just basically building a new one. And that's today's job. So I finished the second table that we're going to use to paint the shutters, and as you can see, it should be enough to have space for 4 shutters altogether if they lay across here. And I've only just used whatever I could find over here in the orangery or in the shop. So we had some boards and some stuff, and that's going to be a painting station for the coming months, and we look forward to get on with it.
It's time for the Christmas decorations to go away. So sad. So I've been taking down the wreaths and, taking off the ribbons, and I was going to take one of these apart to see how they put it together, and I was thinking it just doesn't seem like these have faded in any way. They're so solid, so I was beginning to think that they're plastic, but they aren't plastic. I pulled one apart and it did smell like a pine thing, but I can see that there's, one of those kind of centers in the middle of it. And so, with a straw. And so I was thinking I could save these for next year and then use the sort of the centers to create my own. Yeah, but amazed at how much this greenery has held up. So Himiko is my very difficult Japanese queen, but in fact she was the queen of an area that was later to become Japan, and we don't have information about her from Japanese records, but rather from Chinese records, because the Chinese, they were recording everything that was going on. And today, lots of areas in Japan claim Himiko, but at the time, not so much. But she was a shamaness sort of queen, and she had a group of 100 women that, were basically her court. So a bit of a feminist is one of the reasons that we love Himiko, and also because she reigned for so long and apparently did so much good. But there's a lot more to learn about her, and I'm working on this right now to get it right. But this is basically her name. Japanese characters.
It's early morning here at the chateau. I found a few items around, two of them being in the orangery, one was in the wine cellar. So I spray painted them black, and one is it's actually for wine bottles. It looks a bit funny, and you can imagine how it would look when all the bottles are sticking up like that. But it will be a nice display. The other two were over in the orangery, and we can put candle lights on those as a nice display.
To replace the existing keychains with the new keychains I just finished. And first we arrive at Cleopatra. So Cleopatra key. Cleopatra was formerly known as Margot, but not anymore. Cleopatra going on. And with a lot of these keychains, one side is the name of the room, and then the other side is just a little Easter egg of representation, something about that particular queen for anybody who is in the know. And if you're not in the know, hopefully it just looks like a nice little design. All right, that looks good. And we come down the hall from Cleopatra, and we get to the Elizabeth II room, and here we have Elizabeth and her cipher. So Elizabeth II, and then the R for Queen, of course. Oh, and her crown, and I really liked the black and gold. Yep. And then down the hall from Elizabeth, we have Eleanor, and that's Eleanor of Aquitaine, our French queen. And on the back is the symbol that Eleanor was basically her wax stamp. So when she would sign something officially, letters and such, this was the art that was used. And that was really fun to make.
I'm at the shop today because I got a little rust to work on one of the cars, and this is a good place to do it. I really like this garage. So I've been sanding and taping up, so I'm ready to paint now.
As we come up to the second floor, we have Catherine the Great and hers. Here we have Catherine. And then Catherine's symbol is an E and a 2, because Catherine in Russian begins with an E. And that is her official symbol. One of them. And then down the hall, we have Margrethe, the second Queen of Denmark. Here we have Margrethe. And then on the back of hers, we have her logo. You see her queen crown. And then also the M and the 2 are for Margrethe II, and the R for the Queen. Loved making that. Love the gold. Our lights are on a timer, so they always go out. And then we have Himiko, who is missing her key. Must be on the inside. Yes, here she is. And the Himiko room used to be known as Angelique, but no more. We're locking Himiko on the inside because we're living next door to her right now. So we have Himiko, very beautiful, our Japanese queen. Of course, the final characters for Himiko, and ruler of WWII, which is one of the names for the area that she ruled at the time.